All right, guys. So here are the rules. No editing. No editing for the Detox dudes. I am on 3 months of international travel. I don't have any of my camera equipment with me, for better or for worse. And the backlog of videos that we had were just not good enough, honestly. I just didn't think they were rich enough. Rich enough spiritually and emotionally, not financially. But this video, I'm doing the same thing again, this video as the last one that I did, where I don't know what I'm going to talk about other than literally 2 words. Okay, I have 2 words in my head, and I had a couple dreams about this video and what I would say and this and that, and just little thoughts here and there. But genuinely, 98% of what I'm about to say is the first time that I've ever really thought it or said it. Okay, and the 2 words that I've had in my mind in the last couple days to film a video on are Liver King. Okay, I watched the documentary on Netflix, and I suggest you watch it. Okay, it's really interesting, and I want to talk about what I learned from that documentary, what my viewpoint is on the Liver King in terms of health, and more importantly than talking shit about any one human being or picking flaws in a human being, I want to make it about health, wellness, and masculinity, and using Liver King as an example. I genuinely hope he watches this video. There's probably a 1% chance that he does, but I genuinely hope that he does, because I'm actually going to be talking in a way, and even though it sounds like I might be harsh at times and talking negatively about someone, I genuinely feel that this is feedback that can improve his life and his family's life, right? So, and this is my viewpoint. I could be totally wrong, all right? But when I look at a guy like Liver King, I see a man who's very, very out of balance. And I see a man who is in a tremendous amount of internal turmoil and pain and anxiety and grief, okay? And he's jacked. He's way richer than I am. He can outperform me physically in probably nearly everything, except probably a fight. I don't know. I probably could beat him up in jiu-jitsu fight for sure. MMA, I don't know. I don't know how big he is, but I'm not saying this to compare. It's just like he's very successful in a lot of different arenas that men want to be successful in. But this is another example of success and getting what you want and money and power and this and that. It doesn't actually mean that you are well inside. It doesn't mean that you have a deep, solid, fruitful relationship with yourself. It doesn't mean that you're not in a massive reaction 24/7. When I look at a guy like that, I see a guy who's reacting to his wounds 24/7 and has built layer and layer and layer of strength on top of a core rotting agony, a rotting internal agony. And you know what I learned about this lifetime, guys? You can't accomplish your way out of your pain. You can't make enough. There's no amount of money, no amount of weightlifting, no six-pack, no tan, no primal diet. There's nothing in the world that will alchemize and actually transform and heal your wounds. None of that heals your wounds. It may help you have better self-esteem. It may make your life better. You might feel better about yourself on the surface. And it can genuinely add value to your life to win in life. Yes, absolutely. But fundamentally, everything is built on a house of cards when you do not digest and metabolize your emotions, when you do not presence your core wounds, do shadow work, understand all of your limiting beliefs, all your childhood, your relationship to your parents, all of the automatic patterns, right? You don't actually get anywhere. It's like you're on a treadmill. You win more goodies out of life, but you don't actually get anywhere spiritually, emotionally, and in terms of your own humanity either. Okay? So, and in your own development, okay, beyond surface level development, right? In self-help industry, the money, the girlfriend, this, the that, the material goods. Yes, you can improve, but that's not genuine spiritual soul self-development. okay? So, you know, I'm not going to edit, so you're just going to be with me on these pauses, okay? Use it as a practice to stop your addictive, nonstop checking your email 100 times a minute like I do. So, the thing about the Liver King and other men is that he's presenting in a way that shows that he has a complete inability to let go. Okay, it's all about power and control. Now, granted, he has transformed a lot since the time when he was purely lying and totally dishonest with his fans. But when you have that much strength, okay, and just you're building this kind of muscle and this kind of routine where you're wearing yourself thin day and day after day, day after day, you can be physically strong, but energetically you can be a total mess, burning the candle at both ends, very, very on the edge of disease, and totally and utterly out of balance and have no wellness. Being a high performer does not mean that you have internal wellness. They are not the same thing, guys. This is like a virus that men are infected with. That you think that you do the mental training, the physical training, the six-pack, you get the money, you know how to have your posture, you know how to talk correctly, you know how to do all of these things, and then you're a good man and a superior man. It's bullshit. A superior man knows how to do all of those things, but number one, he's not owned by any of them. And number two, he does them naturally and organically without forcing things every single day. Okay? Because his soul and his internal beingness is capable and magnetic. So the thing is, a guy like Liver King, even though he's a physical specimen and he's a feat to look at and a conversation piece, obviously, it's not a good representation of what it is to be a good human being on this planet. That is not the path, okay? Do you know how much harder it is to be vulnerable? And for a guy like him, his true edge is to deeply, deeply cry, to deeply face his childhood wounds, to deeply find out who he is underneath all of the steroids. When you're taking that amount of steroids and HGH and compounds, it's a synthetic confidence. It's not deep and it's not lasting, and it's built upon a house of cards. So when he's 60 or 70, it's going to melt away. And I guess what I'm trying to teach here is that you want to build things that are eternal, guys. You want to build things that withstand the test of time. You want to build things in your life that are true, deeply, genuinely true. That kind of steroids, HGH, all of that, it's such a level of false confidence, and I'm not judging at all, but the pain that he's causing, in my opinion, honestly, this is going to be very controversial and politically maybe incorrect. I do believe he's causing a lot of pain for his children, and I hope he watches this. You could see multiple times in that documentary how scared of him his children were. Yes, they respected him. Yes, that he is a badass in a lot of ways and does amazing things for his family. He's a provider, and he gives them these epic experiences in nature, and it's like, wow, this guy's fucking awesome. He does have a kingdom, right? But he's a child with the kingdom, okay? And so all of that is to say that you see multiple times throughout the film that his kids are afraid of him. Like he says, they say, you know, he'll say their name and they'll just like almost like get to attention like a military leader, and they, for the rest of their lives, in my total humble, complete, not knowing him personally, are gonna feel like they can't live up to his expectations and they cannot ever be as strong as him. They're gonna feel like they will never be as strong as him because he's bringing this dominant energy into the family. It's like, you're, as a father, you're not supposed to be a dominator. right? A lot of us probably had that dominating father. There's a massive cost to that. Feels good in the moment to be that as a father. You get your validation, you feel powerful, you feel like you're the tribe leader, but when you're exerting that level of strength and domination, you leave no wiggle room for vulnerability. And not everyone is built to be pure strength, raw force, and primal, and this and that. There are certain men who are more feminine, more Venusian, more loving, more caring about other things than just dominating. So you limit yourself, and I'll stop talking about Liver King and make it more generic now. You stop limiting, you limit your ability as a leader, as a father, as a husband, as a coach, as any role that you might play. You are severely limited if you only know how to be strong, and if you only know how to rest in strength and domination. If you don't know deep emotions, if you don't know helplessness, because he even mentioned helplessness in the video, in the documentary, right? So a lot of men have deep helplessness inside of them, and they have to react to it. I will tell you, I've done months, if not years of work, feeling totally and utterly helpless, and how deep that wound goes, and not reacting to it, and just saying, wow, I'm totally a helpless, sad human being somewhere. We all have these deep cuts, okay? And so the other alternative to presencing the wounds is to ignoring them. That's not good. The other alternative is to compensate, which is what a lot of men do, right? I'm not that, right? I've seen a lot of jiu-jitsu guys who I fought with back in the day. Their whole life was just like, when I was 5 years old, someone made fun of me and I made sure to learn how to fight, and I never looked back. But all they're doing is, I'm not a pussy, I'm not a pussy, I'm not a pussy. It's not, it doesn't have grounded, free, sovereign roots. It's a mechanism. It's like you're a slave to this dynamic inside of yourself. Okay? So strength is awesome. Winning is awesome. Even dominating in life is awesome. It's when people, first of all, believe that that's the only path. Second of all, when they're a slave to that. And third of all, when they look down on anything that's not that. You're just cutting yourself off from the human experience. Because I will tell you, with every ounce of my being, after working with thousands of people, billionaires, 50 plus people worth hundreds of millions of dollars, UFC fighters, multiple, NFL players, multiple, hockey players, pro Canadian League, one NHL, I believe one NHL player, motocross, professional bull riders, lawyers, doctors, rocket scientists, Navy SEALs, worked with all these people one-on-one. And every single person that I've ever met, ever, is a complete and utter mess somewhere inside of themselves. Maybe some of them won't admit it, or will just say, I'll look at that at a future date. I have had people be like, I think you're right, Josh, but I'm gonna look at that at a future date. My life's going really good right now. I'm winning. Not really interested in going deep. But after enough time as a human being, after enough trials and tribulations, enough death, illness, things that happen in life, everyone will start to find the crevices inside of themselves that are in agony and lost and scared and anxious and whatever else your thing is. Okay? So that's the beauty of the human experience, and that's something that unites us, and that's something that it keeps you so humble. Humility is so, and that's why this dude had to lie to his audience for so many years, because there's such a lack of humility there. Okay? Now, again, I don't know him personally, and this and that is not a hit piece on him. I would gladly have a conversation with this dude with total respect, because he does command a level of respect. The amount of hardworking in his blood, and also his success, right? So again, please hear me correctly, okay? 'Cause So all in all, right now I am a father. Men are really are struggling. Okay, I see client after client after client who has millions of dollars, but they feel very, very unfulfilled and very hollow inside of themselves. They feel sick inside of themselves, and it's really, really in the closet, and very few people in their life know about it, and it's somewhere deep in the corner, and they still win in life, and they still can put on that happy face, and they still can present themselves, and they might even look healthy and happy, but in that corner, they're suffering, and they don't know why. They can't feel, they can't have enjoyment in their life, they don't feel connection to their family, their kids, their wives, their partners. They don't feel life anymore. They've shut down. They keep winning and winning and winning and going and investing in this world, but they just keep feeling emptier and emptier and emptier inside, and they get so thin energetically inside themselves, and they suffer quietly. They suffer quietly. And this is it's a collective issue that men are having, and part of my mission, other than Detox, is to help this. Okay? And so please reflect on what I'm saying here, and man or woman, and ask yourself, how much of you is getting pulled by society and dogma and what you think you should be doing, how you think you should be living life? And just genuinely ask yourself, am I full inside, spiritually and emotionally? And if you're not, you got to change your paradigm. You got to change the way you think, the way you act, the way you operate, because it's your destiny to be full. We have to live a full life. More so than a rich life, more so than a life of having a six-pack, of being jacked, of having respect, of having fame, of this or that. Being full, genuinely full. There's nothing like it, and my wife is the best example. My wife is the best example I have seen of any human being I've ever met, of what genuine fullness, to literally just look at trees and plants and fruits and dogs and animals and babies and humans with love every single day and care every single day, and so much love to be alive, so much joy to be alive. And I learned from her. Okay? So yes, be strong, dominate, win, get what you want out of this life 100%. And just know that once you get there, as myself and many other my clients and friends have done, you're not necessarily full because of that. Life requires a different set of skill sets to fill yourself up, to actually fill yourself up on life. It's not enough, okay, to just make money and win and be famous and have social, all this other shit that people want. It will not fill you up. Get it, because trust me, you want it. It's better to have it than not have it, especially when you're not attached to it. But the whole way you're trying to get it, understand there's another half of the equation that most people scoff, whatever the word is, right? Like, fuck that, it's bullshit. All right, guys, so let me know your thoughts. Give me a comment, subscribe, like, and also, yeah, I am teaching a retreat at the end of July, a Spirit of a Man retreat. You should check it out in the info description. The link, the testimonials are unbelievable. It's deep work. It's something different. It's not really found anywhere else on the planet. I genuinely believe that. All right, it's a retreat for men. It's run by me. It's intimate. It's 12 people. That's it. We have usually 60, 70 people apply. We only accept 12. And it's profound, right? So, but more importantly, right, if you're not interested in that, share with me your thoughts on this video. Okay? Thanks, guys.